Let's talk schools and education. Deanna Barash, Assistant Superintendent for Curriculum, West Bloomfield School District. Deanna, good to have you on Zoom. Thanks for joining us. So, big school board meeting Monday night, and you folks must have been working hard behind the scenes to put together a plan. You're the first district in the state of Michigan to announce. It's been reported everywhere. Would you tell us what your plans are like, and just bring us up to speed?
Sure. So thank you for having us and letting us tell you a little bit about what we are planning. So I want to start with a clarification, Dave, just to make sure that your listening audience is aware. We obviously will follow whatever the guidelines are at that point in time when we return in August. So if there's an executive order or obviously direction from the Michigan Department of Education, we will do whatever it is that that direction says. But what was important to us was that our families and our community and our staff knew that we had a plan when we left at the end of this school year, so that no matter what was going to happen in August, that we were prepared. And so, yes, my team, which is a great group of individuals who are forward thinkers and always looking to do what's best for kids, have been working really hard for really about the last 5 or 6 weeks to develop a series of plans that really will meet a variety of needs and concerns that we've heard from parents and from our staff members as well.
So this plan is the first one that any district has put out in the state of Michigan, and it isn't an easy pill to swallow. Let's be honest; none of this has been easy. And your plan talks about students being home part of the time and in the building part of the time. I assume to lower the number of people in the classrooms and allow for social distancing. Can you talk about that?
Sure. So the first plan is exactly that, Dave. It really is based on just yesterday, the CDC released their guidelines, revised guidelines about a return to school. And they are mandating right now 6 feet apart, students staying in the same room all day, no lunch in the cafeteria, all those sorts of things. And we really were planning from that from the very beginning. It is very difficult to socially distance students when you have 25 students in a classroom. It's virtually impossible simply because of the number of spaces that we have, the square footage of a classroom. And what we want to do is to reduce the amount of exposures that students might have during the course of the school day. And the only way that we really can do that, socially distance safely, make sure that students are moving as a group and don't have a lot of exposure, is if we have students learning at home part of the time and in person part of the time. And that's really where this plan started, was be able to get back into school in August for face-to-face instruction, but recognize probably at this point in time, 100% of students returning to school may not be an option.
Yeah, and it is going to be a challenge. Who knows where we're going to be? You don't. So you got to put together a plan. But, foreseeable. The governor already said that we are not going to have full football stadiums in the fall. So if we're not going to have full football stadiums, taking a couple thousand students and putting them in a large high school, be it West Bloomfield, Walled Lake, Avondale, wherever, these are big populations of people all in a very confined space in a building, probably going to be difficult. How's it going to work from an educational standpoint? As you started putting these plans together, what were your considerations about having students home half of the time?
We wanted to make sure that we have technology available for our students so that the learning still continues. We have asked our parents to do a tremendous amount of work in the last few months, being able to keep their students maintained online, Zooming with their teachers every day, which has become the norm for all of us, and making sure that they're moving forward instructionally, which is very, very important. So we recognize that when we bring them back into school for face-to-face instruction, we wanted to make sure that it is very valuable time, that there's a real intention to why they come every single day. And while they're at home, and when they're learning from home, that they have the technology access they need, whether that is a Chromebook, whether that's access to Wi-Fi, whatever those things might be, so that their education can continue. We also know that it's important to keep our buildings clean. And so the first part of our plan, which is 2 days of instruction, same group of students, Monday and Tuesday, and then Wednesday, a remote learning day for the entire district, is really based upon student safety and staff safety. We want to be able to get in and do a deep clean every single time our students leave the building, and so that when we bring in a new group of students, that they're not going to be exposed from the prior group. And so we're making sure that we are meeting the needs instructionally by technology, having teachers that are going to be monitoring that at home learning so parents aren't expected to do it all by themselves. And certainly what's happening in the classroom needs to be very intentional so students can excel and continue to grow.
She is Deanna Barash, Assistant Superintendent for Curriculum and Instruction. How do you fit all that on a business card? That's an awful lot. West Bloomfield, West Bloomfield School District. Deanna, I thank you very much for being with us today. Good to have you here on the MegaCast. And, it was maybe a little bit easier when this thing first happened with regard to parents' participation in the process because an awful lot of moms and dads were home. In the fall, fewer of them maybe at home and maybe at work. I imagine you had to think about that consideration as well.
Absolutely. So we know that it's a burden, and you're right. Right now, everybody's home, so there's more opportunity and supervision and support, and that may not necessarily be the case in the fall. And we know moms and dads need to go back to work. So we have worked with our community education and early childhood directors to create a child care plan for our kindergartners through eighth graders so that they can return to the building on the days they're not in school. We will have the opportunity to provide childcare from 6:30 in the morning until 6:30 in the evening for those families who need childcare. We don't want this to be something where it devastates a family and a parent has to make a choice about whether returning to work or not. So we worked to develop this a flexible plan that we will be responsive to the needs to our families, and certainly most importantly that it is financially doable for them. We know that we have families that have been impacted by the closure and that may not have work or may not have the same level of pay that they had prior to. So our goal is to make our child care affordable for our families. Our free and reduced lunch families will have minimal, if any, cost, and will be on a sliding scale from there. It is the goal of the district is not to certainly make money on child care, is to provide a service. And so we just need to be able to cover our costs and offer it to our families as well.
Deanna Barash, Assistant Superintendent for Curriculum and Instruction, West Bloomfield School District. Since this announcement, have you heard from other schools? And I know the superintendents, and I'm sure your colleagues as well, are all talking to each other and sharing notes. What are you hearing from our other districts in the area?
I think as we were in the spring, and we were the first ones to announce our plan, I think that many districts are in the same place we are. We're beginning to think about it. We wanted to be the ones who wanted to get out in front and really to provide some peace of mind for our families and for our staff. I think everyone is in a little bit of a planning but wait and see mode. We've had lots of calls. We've had lots of questions. My team, who are involved in a variety of task force across the county and then regionally and actually across the state, have been contacted. What are we going to do? Can you share your plan? What are some of the logistic things that are going? And we're always happy to share. It obviously makes sense that it's more groups working together and more continuity among the county or even among the state is going to make these plans work better. So we're happy to share that information.
All right. Well, Deanna, thank you very much for being with us. I really, really appreciate it today. Good luck. And I just want to invite people, if they want more information, a lot of information was shared with the local community during Monday night's school board meeting. And if you're listening to the MegaCast and you're in another community and you want to go back, I mean, if you're a meeting geek like I am and Tyler over here, that's what we do. We cover local meetings. But if you want to go back and watch a school board meeting, it was really very informative and interesting and a lot of interesting dialogue and discussion, and that is up on our website at civiccentertv.com. So some other information there. And Deanna, let's keep in touch, all right? Let us know how this all goes. And, of course, everything is subject to change with the swipe of the pen from the governor and others. So we'll keep an eye on it.
Thank you for having us.
Hey, no problem. Say hello to everybody in the West Bloomfield School District. Thank you for being with us.